Alright, so this video is going to cover all things job schedule. It's going to be a big video because there's a lot of parts to it. We're going to look at how to create the schedule and how that changes if you use the estimate schedule to begin with. We'll have a look at moving tasks, adjusting progress, basically just all of the little, how do I manage and move and control the different tasks. We'll have a look at assigning and reminders, booking confirmations if you want to get someone to go, yes, I'll be there, and how the schedule runs that. We'll have a look at how this plays with the onsite app, and lucky last, the export options. So across to my account here, first point is how do you set this schedule up? And there's a few answers. It depends what you've done before you get to this point. So I'm going to go back to the estimate schedule here. Personally, at first glance, I found this a bit confusing, having a schedule here in the estimate and a schedule in the job. The easiest way just to distinguish the two is there's a schedule in the estimating budgeting phase, which is this left-hand side, and there's a schedule in the job phase, which is, I guess to kind of highlight the key differences, the one in the estimate is much more intended for just basic time planning when you're budgeting the job. You can use it to share with your client, which people do. The job schedule is much more around assigning people, updating progress, seeing where things are up to, it's really meant to be used while the job is progressing and for you to get a snapshot of where everything's kind of at. If you've used the estimate schedule to begin with, and then you create a job, all of that stuff will transfer to the job schedule for you to kind of build on what you started already. If back in the estimate you used the T buttons, these guys over here, that will also push through into the job schedule. So it depends kind of where you started, but both of those methods will build the schedule here for you in the job. Additionally, you can add stuff manually. And this is a little side note. I find that a lot of people don't realize it's expand all, collapse all, like it's a parent-child category, subcategory type setup. So personally, when I'm messing with this, I will expand all, and then I will add categories, which are the main ones, and I'll use this little plus to add sub-items into the categories. Lucky last, there's absolutely a segment of our users who their schedules are so repeatable that it's quicker for them to use templates. So while I won't go through every detail on this, just know that you can build a schedule and save it and then reuse it. I even use this as a pseudo copy paste from job to job. So I'll go into a job, save it, go to another one, apply it. It can be used in that way as well. But this is particularly good if your schedules are repeatable and you can just use the same one over and over. Awesome. From here, let's have a look at things like moving the items, adjusting the progress, some simple stuff like color coding, reminders, etc. So simply put, there's two ways to do most items in the schedule. So personally, I use this kind of drop and drag, literally just grab it in the middle, drag it, move it, etc. type way of working. You can use these little dots on the edge to grab and drag, which I also like. If you prefer to do it more manually or more based on date, you can click and you can tell us the start date, end date, duration. It does the same exact maths. This is also where you can change the color, which as a side topic, I quite like having similar tasks color coded together. I also quite like having really, really important things like inspections or client meetings or whatever you want in here highlighted a red color to make them really obvious. Awesome. Now from there, the next bit is how do you adjust the progress as it's happening? So using the same two options of just kind of dropping and dragging and using, dragging stuff around on this right-hand side, you can use this little triangle to adjust progress. And as you do that, you will, once it has a think about it, you'll start to see this progress up the top, which is kind of the key indicator of overall schedule progress. Other option, click on it like so, do the exact same thing down here. If you go up and down, it's just 25% increments. If you really want to say it's 45% complete, or an exact number, you can type that in too. Awesome. Now, the next thing to cover is the linking of items together, and then we'll get into assigning people and reminders. So the linking, what I'm talking about here is basically having one task depend on another task. So I can do this two ways. I can grab these dots and go end to start, literally meaning that this task is sensitive to the end date of this one. Or I can do start to start, which, if I put that there, is where the start dates are kind of correlated. The end to start one is better if you want something to be dependent on, hey, if this task gets late, delayed, or over, then push the other ones back. This start to start one is better to make sure stuff starts on the same day, if that's important. Common question is, how do you delete them? And the answer is double click on the line and it goes, hey, do you want to delete this dependency? Generally people figure that out themselves because they just click on it a whole bunch and it pops this message up for them. But that's how you do it. Delete. On a side note, there's this automatic dependencies idea, which is under the settings. This, I kind of use the manual ones, these links, and the auto ones in kind of combination. So auto I will use if I want to either bulk move things, or if I'm setting this up for the first time, it's really handy to have, this get moved and and everything below it kind of gets pushed along. Similarly, you might have a rain delay for a couple of weeks. Great way to push a big hole in the schedule. Could be a delay because the client doesn't pay, or it could be that they change a selection and there's an impact on everything behind it. So I kind of pick the dependency type based on what I'm doing. So big changes, automatic. Small, just task related changes where one thing impacts another but not everything else, I use these manual links. Awesome. While I'm here, I should absolutely mention just how the schedule thinks about weekends and non-working days. So by default, if I click into here, it excludes weekends. And you can see that as a really good case here. This task is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's 2 days because it doesn't count weekends. If I had non-working days, like Christmas, your birthday, whatever else you're going to take off as a company, then you can input them here. So let's say what are we today? The 19th is tomorrow. You can put them in and it just remembers them across all the different jobs. You can manage them here, which removes them from all the jobs. Typically, people do this when they, at the start of the year, put them all in, forget about them, and that's how it works. Beautiful. Let's go into assigning people and reminders. And the way that gets done is you click on the task, you search for the contact, you add whoever they are. It will note if the person is internal. That just means, are they an actual user on your account versus all the other ones that are coming from the contacts here. Bonus point, if you type in, Steve the plumber or any kind of new contact, you can create people on the go and it stores them back in the contacts menu, which I quite like doing that way. So assign someone, and we then have two possible ways of handling the notifications to them and the confirmations from them. So if someone's assigned, or even multiple people assigned, I've only got one of me, but let's say sample. Perfect. Both of those people are assigned. You can send an email reminder. And if you're going to do it, you just tell us how soon before the task to do it. So I think of these very much as a final call reminder. So I'm not sending it months in advance. I would organize that another way. The use of this is typically just, hey, see you in 2 days, just checking that you're good. We'll see you there. And people often add reminder messages, which could be supervisor is John, his phone number is 04, whatever it is. It could even be that you're adding a lockbox combo, or we get all kinds of stuff. Clients been really upset about people parking on their lawn. Please don't do that. Whatever you want, it's just something that they need to know before showing up. So I'm going to get rid of that. Save. This then brings us into booking confirmations. So the booking confirmation, as opposed to just the general reminder, this is an option if you want to use it to go and send a confirmation request to the assigned people. You can choose who you send them to. So like, for example, I find this more useful for your staff or contractors, but it can be used for suppliers. So pick and choose who you want to send it to, send to selected, and a little dot shows up on these to show the status. If you click booking confirmation again, you'll see it's sent or it's approved or whatnot. And when the email comes through to me over here, I'll show you what it looks like. While that email is bouncing around, a really common question we get here is, what if someone confirms and then the task moves? And the answer is the little dots disappear. And if you go booking confirmation again, it'll prompt you to resend it to that person. So say it another way, they're confirming a specific date. If the date moves, they have to reconfirm it. And when the item is confirmed, it'll go this green color, just to indicate that, yep, that's confirmed, they're all locked in. Awesome. Let's go on to the next one, which is, how do you play with the schedule and get it to interact with the onsite app? Now, as I've mentioned in a few other videos, there's specific videos that show use in the onsite app. All I'm really going through here is just an overview of how this connects to the app. So if you go sync to onsite, what that means is anyone who's assigned will see that in their list of tasks to do on the app. As a point here, if you log into the app yourself, you're going to see, because you're a main user, you're a paid user listed on the account, you're going to see all the tasks, as opposed to people who are invited in, they just see their own tasks and literally what they have to do to complete. Lucky last, the sharing options. So when I'm talking about sharing, I'm talking about, separate to the onsite app, I'm looking at just the documents that we produce and uses for them. So there's two types of documents we export. One is the Gantt chart, which is literally just the list plus all the boxes, put simply. The other one is the task list, which is just the left-hand list. Personally, I like the use of the Gantt chart for the client because I think it looks impressive. Task list, better for guys on site, in my opinion, just because it's simpler and it takes 2 seconds to read. So let's go export this task list. Each of these can be exported in different versions. I generally just use PDF unless there's a specific reason, like that I need Excel, like I might mess with it further. You can also pick a time frame. So this talks probably more to the client's use, where you might just want to show them the next month, but I guess equally so you could do that for contractors. And a specific note on the Gantt chart, and going back to this client example, especially if you're showing them just just a particular period of time, or you're trying to limit, I suppose, how much they know, but giving them enough to feel valued. Know that if you expand or collapse and then share it to the Gantt chart, it mirrors what this will be. So if I go entire schedule, Gantt, download, notice there was an email button as well, so you could equally email it to someone. Let's just save that there. It'll show collapsed. So this goes back to a question we get of, why do we even have categories? And the number one reason is so you can do this, so you can separate what's your stuff to know versus the client's to know. Either way, they still know where it's up to. It's just how much of it is relevant for that client to see. Lovely. That's about it for now. As always, hope it's been helpful. Any questions, let us know. But that's the summary of the job schedule. Thanks a lot.